Ladies and gentlemen, it's now 6:15 PM, and a quorum of members is present, so the meeting of the Board of Education of the School District of New Berlin is called to order. Please call the roll.
Ms. Crosby, Mr. Helmer, Ms. Connick,
Here.
Ms. Schultz,
Here.
Mr. Seidel,
Here.
Ms. Spindler, Mr. Zelinski.
Here.
Let's see, Mr. Helmer, Ms. Crosby, and Ms. Spindler let me know they're unable to be here this evening. Maybe Mr. Helmer will come later. So then I would entertain a motion to recess to closed session.
I'll make a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to section 19.85 1C E and F of the Wisconsin statutes to consider approval of closed session minutes of August 11th, employment, performance, and compensation matters pertaining to staff, superintendent goal update.
I second.
I have a motion by Mr. Seidel and a second by Ms. Connick. Please call the roll.
Mr. Seidel,
Yes.
Ms. Connick,
Yes.
Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
Mr. Zelinski.
Yes.
We're moving into closed session or return to open session around 7 o'clock. It is now 7:03 PM, and we are returning from closed session to open session. In recognition of the serious and important nature of our efforts here, we will join in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. For all those who are able, please rise. And now, for those who wish to prepare for the meeting, we will have a moment of silence. This is a public meeting of the Board of Education. Prior to this meeting, notice was given to the public last Friday by providing the agenda to the city library. The agenda was also posted on the district website. A copy of the agenda was forwarded to the Journal Sentinel, the Waukesha Freeman, and the Waukesha Now, all of which have filed requests for all public notices. And this evening, we will start off with recognition.
I would like to ask Principal Buckley and Associate Principal Springer to please come up and introduce our special guest.
So excited I don't have to use the clicker with this. This is good stuff. And I did write stuff down, so I got it right. You're going to have to come on up, Erica, as well, so they know who we're talking about. Good evening. My name is Matt Buckley, principal at Eisenhower. It's my privilege tonight to recognize and thank someone who's been an incredible part of the Eisenhower community for these past 3.5 years. Of course, our school resource officer, Erica Komorowski. Prior to her arrival, I will admit that I wasn't sure we'd ever have another SRO following our last one that was as outstanding as he. And she couldn't live up to the high bar that was set by the officers before her, but I was completely wrong. Erica not only stepped into that role, even better, she made that role even better than it was before, and she raised the bar even higher. She came into that role very much as a police officer, but I will tell you with pride, and I think she would admit she's leaving this role as an educator. She grew into that role of an educator. She became a member of our staff with a different boss. She embraced the opportunity to teach, to guide, to mentor, and make meaningful connections with all the students at Eisenhower. I can't think of anyone who came away from an interaction with her over those 3.5 years without feeling heard, valued, and cared for, which is a rare and powerful feat. And I think especially so at maybe the police level. So, what makes it even more special is that Officer Komorowski is one of our own. She first left Eisenhower in 2006. Got that right? So she walked these same halls as a student, graduated from Eisenhower, and then returned to give back to our school and to our community. So this probably feels like her second graduation, or third. Of course, this time as our school resource officer, who gave so much of herself to her alma mater. So I find myself again in a familiar spot where I simply can't conceive of the next SRO being as good as the one that we're saying goodbye to. Because she set an incredibly high standard through her service, through her compassion, through her work with our students and in our community, and her ability to make every person she encountered feel seen and heard. So on behalf of the students of Eisenhower, our staff, our families, and our community, I want to say thank you to Erica. We're better because she was with us. And I feel fortunate to know that she's still going to be serving the city of New Berlin, back in a full-time role as a police officer in the streets. We're so happy that you're forever a Lion. We're so happy that you gave yourself back to Eisenhower for a few years. So I would ask the board and the other administrators to please join me in honoring Erica for her years of extraordinary service to the students of Eisenhower and all across New Berlin, because we did DARE and all sorts of other things too. But more importantly, all of the fine work she did for our school community, and the community of New Berlin. Last time we gave you paper when she graduated. This time we're giving you, what would we call this, Mr. Garza? Crystal. We're giving you crystal. So I think, and 2006 to the 20-year anniversary of your graduation, you get it's a crystal one, right? So there you are. So that's for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
And that's for you too. You may, please.
Thank you all for having me here today. I've been working for the New Berlin Police Department now for almost 14 years, And I will say that I am truly privileged to have gotten the opportunity to work with your wonderful school district. Not only the students here that are amazing, but their parents, and truly the staff here we have been working as a team for the last 4 years, and I could not have done it without their help. Our goals are one and the same, but the safety of the school is our priority. So I am truly privileged to have gotten to work with this wonderful community. Since I've started, you have to write your goals every year. My goal was always to make it to an SRO at some point. So I am truly, thank you for everything. This community is wonderful. Your school district is wonderful. So I am truly blessed. Thank you so much.
And in true Erica form, she's double booked, so she is heading on out as we speak.
Texas Roadhouse ticker top for Special Olympics. I smell like cinnamon rolls.
Thank you. Then we have privilege of the floor. Do we have any this evening?
No.
All right. And I do not have a message or announcements, so we'll move on to the administrative team report.
Just a brief report. Last week, we welcomed new staff to this conference room. I'm happy to say that it was a small group, which means that we had minimal turnover in our certified staff. And then today, we actually welcomed all staff back. And so our halls are now kind of filled with some students, our staff, and then come next week, Tuesday, whether we like it or not, we're right back at it. So we're really looking forward to another exciting school year. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have a couple of reports, the incident report and the donation report. Mr. Seidel, would you please read the donation report?
It would be my pleasure. The first one was for Eisenhower, the Eisenhower Baseball Booster Club, to cover the expenses such as meals and the coach bus from the baseball state tournament in the amount of $969. Second is also for Eisenhower, the New Berlin Eisenhower Football Booster Club, to purchase huddle, football, end zone filming equipment in the amount of $4,999, bringing our total donations to $5,968. Thank you so much to our donors, and that ends my report.
Thank you. All right, and we have our consent agenda, which includes notice, the approval of minutes of the board meeting on August 11th, and approval of minutes of the board meeting work session on August 11th, plus the financial reports. Are there any items that should be pulled out for separate consideration? Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second. Oh,
Okay. All right, I'll give it to Renee. I have a motion by Mr. Seidel and a second by Ms. Connick to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? And hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. On to our regular agenda. We have a presentation, the capital campaign feasibility study presentation.
So as a reminder, the board approved a resolution last year to pull together a outdoor facilities task force. We successfully were able to accomplish what we needed as part of that resolution. Then we proposed to the school board of entering into an agreement with Abundant Philanthropy, splitting the cost of a $20,000 collaboration between the Education Foundation of New Berlin. They paid $10,000, and the school district would pay $10,000 for a feasibility study and a wealth screen. And we are here to give you an update on where those things are. I would like to say that we did meet with the foundation, some foundation members last week, the New Berlin United Athletic Foundation group, the volunteer group, to kind of get some preliminary conversation around some of the information to make sure that we were better prepared for this conversation tonight. But I'll hand it over to Dave Cody, who headed up the task force on behalf of the school district. Dave.
Thanks, Joe. Before we get started, I do want to reintroduce you to Jason Perry, the founder of Abundant Philanthropy. He's going to be, I'll turn it over to you in a second. And then Julie Cordero, the foundation director, should you have any questions for either of them, they're here tonight to help support this conversation. Just as a reminder of some of the things, because it's been a little bit since we've been in front of you and talked with you about this process. We're going to review what a well screen is and what a feasibility study is. And then I'll turn it over to Jason. He's going to go over the results of that feasibility study. And then I'll jump back in and kind of talk to you a little bit about the recommendations that the administration has for this time. Again, a little bit of review. Well screen, again, conducted typically by a third party. We consulted with Abundant Philanthropy and Jason. It really helps determine the capacity for a campaign and the giving history of key stakeholders. It's really trying to identify those major gift prospects that are out there, individuals who have given to other efforts in the past. And then it kind of helps set the stage whether or not a campaign is even valid or not. That leads into the feasibility study. Wellscreen really is part of a feasibility study. They're not necessarily two separate items. They're kind of together. But the feasibility study, again, conducted by a third party. And this really helps determine the readiness of an entity, whether or not they're ready to go for a campaign. Do they have the major gift givers that are out there? Do they have the interest that's out there? The process that Jason went through was interviewing a number of key stakeholders, both, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but both by conversations, but also a survey, just to gather as much data and information that he could. And again, it's also trying to build that early support for a campaign, trying to raise awareness, and then again identify some possible campaign champions. And by that I mean people who want to volunteer for an effort like this, or have a good donor, a extensive donor network that they can tap into to help really get things going and off the ground. So that's just a real, I'm sorry, there's more. As Joe already said, we did split that cost between the foundation and the district. All three of these groups up here, that's a lot of acronyms, and I apologize. But we provided Abundant Philanthropy with as much data as we could. Data included just individuals that we knew of or had already donated to the foundation. A lot of information, as much information that we could provide to Jason. And then he took it from there. And with that, I will turn it over to Jason because he can tell you where things at.
Thanks, Dave.
Hi, thanks for having me today. All right, and there it is. Perfect. Okay, Dave kind of set this up for the things that we're going to go through tonight, so we're going to dive right in here. So our team, through two tools that we subscribe to, one is called iWave, the other is LexisNexis. We have the ability to drill down and get a sense for where wealth is at within a specific constituency base. Why this is important is you're going to hear me talk probably often tonight about the idea of a gift chart, about the idea that you want to build momentum. You want those folks at the top who have the ability to make significant financial contributions to start to get you closer to your goal. I feel like the timing's probably appropriate. We like to make football analogies often. It's a lot easier to talk about scoring a touchdown when you're in the red zone as opposed to when you're at your other 1 yard line. You got a long, long ways to go. So as part of this well screen, we started to look at lists provided by the district, list provided by the foundation, and got a sense for, based on what is available out there, publicly traded stock, houses, donation history, this is what we were able to come up with. So it gives us a sense as you go into this process what you're working with. I'm going to drill down into those specifics, and if anybody has any questions, please feel free to stop me. I have two teenage boys, and I get interrupted regularly at home, so I'll make me more comfortable here tonight. So when we look at successful campaigns, these are some of the key ingredients that we're looking for. For one, the first two actually were the case for support was something our team worked with the district to develop, and the objective was pretty clear. We were looking at the outdoor athletic facilities within the two high schools. An established donor base, those people, as we look at that, have been giving consistently for a number of years. We really look at 3 to 5 years of giving. We're looking for trends where ideally people are consistent and consistently a little bit more every year. One-on-one solicitations that you're going to call somebody and they're going to take your call, and you've got a history of making fundraising requests to them in person. If we're going to be making gifts at the type that we were looking at here, at that level, that's a key piece. Market conditions, your guess is as good as mine. If you have advice on a 401k, please let me know, because I could probably use some help with that. Major gift leadership, looking at those folks at the top of the pyramid, those that have the ability to make a significant financial investment. And then that strong staff and volunteer effort are things that we're looking at. So back to the pyramid. We screened over 4,000 households. From that group, we identified those that had the capacity to give at $50,000 or more and went about setting up personal interviews. We were able to complete 33 of those, then had 186 individuals respond to a survey that we worked with the district to create. From that, we were able to gather an inclination of one individual that came forward that said $50,000 to $75,000 a year would be a solicitation they'd be open to considering. From there, we had 3 opt in at the $5,000 to $10,000 level. These were open questions that we brought up with people. We gave them the chance to self-select in on the survey, but in those personal interviews, we had more of an open-ended conversation with them. I think it's interesting, those last 2 data points, that over 90% of the individuals that we communicated with in some fashion indicated that they would make a gift or would at least consider making a gift to this process. Now, one disconnect you'll see a little bit later that we'll talk about is we have a significant percentage of folks that said, yeah, this is something I might be open to, but we didn't have people opting in at those larger levels. You know, you think about your United Way campaign, the idea of the thermometer. Everybody feels better when their thermometer is getting higher. It's a lot of work to get higher if you're talking about 10, 25, 50, maybe even $100 contributions. We really want to focus on the upper end of that. From a corporate giving standpoint, we had some pretty positive some positive feedback from groups. We did have one company that indicated an interest to consider a $2.5 million fundraising request. And another, based here in the area, that would be open to reviewing $1 million request. I'm going to get into both of those just in a little bit more detail later in our time today, where we start to look at how do we discount those kind of based on past giving history with each of those companies, which we took a pretty close look at. For individuals that we spoke to on behalf of a company or were aware of how their company typically gave away money, the idea of a multi-year pledge generally was something that they encouraged. By multi-year, we're looking at probably payable over 3 to 5 year period. The idea of some of those sponsorship opportunities where people could come in at maybe not a huge level, but could come in at, $50,000, a significant enough level, and have some level of recognition was well received. And then if you're looking at those larger leadership type gifts, and we generally think of leadership type gifts of $1 million or more, of looking at recognition opportunities or specifically naming at that level. Other themes that came up during the course of some of the questions that we put in the survey or just the interviews that we had with folks. I won't read through all 6 of these, but you can see these are just some other ideas that people brought up. I think it's telling because, as the district starts to look at what you want to do today and what you're interested in funding moving forward, it gives you a little bit of a sense for what residents are interested in looking at.
Jason, if I may, this is what, Janet, we had talked about this previously. So the value of the well screen and feasibility study not only gets you a litmus test of the actual proposed project or potential capital campaign, it also identifies individuals and prospects for other scenarios. So, for example, while they may not give to this larger campaign, between the list that we'll get from Jason and Julie's work and David's work, we'll be able to analyze the data to determine who these other people are and what was it that they were interested in giving to. So it may not be outdoor athletic facilities as their priority. It could be one of these other things. So go ahead, Jason.
Thanks, Joe. So an additional theme is the idea, as we described, of mild support versus passionate support. I think it's safe to say that folks responded favorably to the idea of renovating the facilities. Where we ran into some challenges is folks being able to opt in at some of those larger financial levels. It didn't make the path clear towards realizing the fundraising goals obvious immediately, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But folks generally responded with the idea that if there was an opportunity to buy a brick, to participate in some type of a fundraising event where they were to purchase something at their child's school, that would be interesting to them. But when we discuss some of those larger levels, folks generally tended to shy away from that. From a leadership standpoint, the district has expressed an interest to engage in a leadership role with this campaign if we're able to secure some of those larger leadership gifts, and we'll get into that a little bit more here later. The foundation to be that back office support, I won't get too far into the details on fundraising, but when somebody makes a pledge to make a big gift, we have to make sure that they pay that. We have to track that information. We have to send thank you letters. We have to do all the things. And I know that I would say Julie and her team of Julie, have agreed to help to serve in that capacity. The NBUAF, the New Berlin United Athletic Foundation, the group is interested in engaging. I think there could be an opportunity there to start to recruit some of those influential, more connected individuals. It's a big world, but you usually find that person or two that tends to know everybody in town. Being able to recruit those type of individuals and could be helpful to this effort. And with the school board, when we've seen these projects are successful, the group is engaged, and as individuals are interested, ideally stepping into a leadership type role has been helpful. So additional positive indicators. The district has committed to $2 million in funding from the long-range facilities plan for new tracks. It's a great start to whatever type of effort the group might decide to pursue. I touched on this a little bit before previously. The second bullet point and the fourth one, a $2.5 million contribution, which we believe should be cultivated from a corporation headquartered here. I'm going to jump to the bottom and then come back. And then the potential of a $1 million opportunity also from a company based here in the area. In addition to the $2 million that the district has committed, the district expressed an interest, a potential for an additional $2 million in matching funds. So just to be clear, $2 million match is if you're able to raise $2 million, the district would come in with an additional $2 million. A lot of times with these, it can be a real catalyst to get a sense for community engagement and participation in something like this. Ideally, you're able to do that in big chunks where you can go out and raise the money and have the district come in with this additional gift. Please.
This is where the question was. We were talking before what that question was. That $2 million, though, can you expand on that a little further as far as where that other $2 million would come from, and not necessarily from that second bullet point?
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. So when we were looking at the matching gift, our recommendation would be, and we'll get into this a little bit more, but to initially focus on those two corporations that have come forward and expressed an interest. The $2 million we would recommend be positioned as a community-wide match. Determine the viability of the 2.5 of the $1 million on that lower level, and then take the rest out to the community. As I mentioned earlier, we did have a couple of individuals that said they would be open to considering, larger 5-figure contributions or maybe even a 4-figure contribution. But the additional matching would be once there's clarity on the level of engagement with those two corporations, take this out and see what type of interest you can get from the community at large. Thanks, Dave.
Question on the
Please.
communication of that. Sometimes businesses will come in and say, if you can raise this amount, we'll match you. But you were sort of saying it the other way around. We're going to give this much, but you need to match it. I mean, would you actually turn around the way that it's communicated?
Yeah, so what we've typically done with matching gifts is that initially we would focus on some of those folks that opted in or at least said they'd be open to considering at a larger level. And the conversation would be, for every dollar we can raise up to $2 million, the district will match it. So it's, if you and I were talking, and I don't know if we're saying the same
Okay,
thing.
maybe I'm getting all confused with this. So it sounds like there's 2 million being thrown around all over the place. So we're talking about the district in our budgeting will have 2 million. We're also going to try to get 2 million from the community, just individuals or smaller businesses or whatever. Plus we have 2 million coming from a larger business in the area.
Yeah.
So there's 6 million we're talking about?
No, so again, I think to simply put it, the district shouldn't be matching the potential $2.5 million gift, nor the potential $1 million gift, ideally. We would save that potential $2 million matching fund for fundraising efforts. Not, so like if we get, let's say we get the $2.5 million by that corporation, we wouldn't automatically then just give the $2 million to to the campaign.
Right.
That would be set aside for other fundraising. Now, the caveat to that is that as we explore the conversations with the potential $2.5 million contributor or the $1 million contributor, is they may, through the exploration process, say that we would be more inclined, like I don't know exactly what they're going to say, but if they said, like, we'd be willing to do this if the district matched our amount, that's TBD. Then that would change our strategy.
And when you say district, you mean coming out of taxpayer budget money? Not,
It would be coming out of our
right.
fund balance, correct? But again, we wouldn't do that. I mean, I guess what Jason's suggesting is you would wait to do that for fundraising outside of the two major gifts that are possible.
So if I were to resequence this, I would actually take the $2 million from the district and put that as the fourth bullet point. So really to go in order, it would be the district committing to $2 million for the track as kind of your first priority. So when you take this out and have that meeting or meetings with the corporation as expressed an interest in 2.5, there's $2 million already in the long-range facilities plan that the district has, I believe, has looked at for investment in the tracks, the outdoor tracks. So you've got $2 million right away. From there, talking to the company about the $2.5 million gift, and then the other company about $1 million gift. Once you get a sense for where you're at there, and again, this is a discussion for leadership, but to broach the idea of an additional potential $2 million match. That would be outside of those three donors, and then really focused on engagement from the community.
Okay. I was just thinking when it comes to engagement from the community, a lot of times you hear in fundraising like, hey, if you give $100, this company is going to match that $100 for every person that gives $100 up to a certain amount. So I didn't know if that
Oh, you're
was-
right on the same page.
Yeah, I didn't know if that's
absolutely.
something like you're looking at to encourage the community to give, because they know the more they give, the more the potential match could be.
Oh, and that's
what I was
exactly it.
thinking.
Yeah, that's
The
exactly it,
company.
except
I mean, match from the company. Yeah, right, not the school district, from the company.
yeah.
To be clear, we did not promise a potential $2 million in matching funds.
We did not.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for your questions. Additional challenges that we saw was the lack of 5- and 6-figure gift prospects for this process. We're going to look shortly at a gift chart, and that'll give you a better sense for kind of where that comes into play here. All right, so let's get to our recommendations. First option that we looked at through this process is a phased approach of looking at a $7.5 million campaign that would initially address the football, track and field, and soccer fields. Ideally, as we've discussed, the district at the initial $2 million, getting a better sense for the two corporate matches. As I stated before, the district match after you get a sense for the viability of those two. If you're able to go forward with this approach, you have a better understanding of the investment level of the community. Again, the district takes out $2 million as a dollar-for-dollar match. If you raise the $2 million quickly, it opens up the possibility for a second phase where you would address the other outdoor facilities not included in here, specifically baseball and softball. This is a little small, so I apologize. Generally, for a $7.5 million campaign, this is kind of the roadmap that you would look to follow. The thinking is that ideally, your leadership gift, the top gift on that chart, is approximately 25% of your overall fundraising goal. It doesn't have to be this, but generally when campaigns work, you're looking at about this level. Now, one thing I want to point out is in that third column, it says total number of prospects recommended at this level. Generally, the recommendation is that you are looking at a multiple of 5 for every gift that you need to secure. The main reason behind that is it's very easy to spend other people's money. You want to identify more people that are able to do that, hoping that you can get to the number of gifts that you need. So as you work your way down, you can see 2.5, $1 million. This does not account for the conversation we just had about the $2 million from the district, and it starts to work down from there. There's a number of 6-figure gifts and a number of 5-figure gifts as well. Based on what we saw, from the feasibility results, this is what a $7.5 million campaign gift chart would look like. Again, the possibility, the opportunity to talk about a $2.5 million gift. $2 million that's in the long-range facilities plan, and then the potential of an additional $2 million that would be a match. We're going to get into that a little bit more later here as well. The $1 million, and then you can see there's a pretty big drop-off after that. In the last chart, we showed some gifts at $500,000, $250,000, and $100,000. But based on the feedback we got, prospects at that level were not readily identified. So it drops off pretty quickly from there, and you'll see in that last line, those gifts up to, or just shy of $5,000, that's a lot that we would need to close that gap. There's a lot here. I'm going to pause for a second, and then I can keep moving on here. And we can also come back to anything. Why don't we look at option 2? A $10 million campaign that would focus on renovations to all the outdoor athletic facilities. A little bit of a concern with this is the lack of those leadership and major gifts. Again, we've identified a couple of opportunities at the highest level, but the middle is pretty empty right now. Pursuing a path like this, based on our experience working on campaigns like this, would require a significant time and financial investment from the district. We also want to be clear that we tested the idea of $15 million, and we would not advise moving forward with that at that time. Based on the number of prospects we identified through this process, we don't think that number is feasible. This is going to look pretty similar to the 7.5, just the numbers got a little bit bigger. Starts at 2.5, works its way down. Ideally, this is what a successful $10 million campaign would look like. You're going to have movement in this, but it gives you a roadmap. I'd like to show you the next one because I think it paints a pretty good picture here. Well, actually, again, this is based on what we saw in the feasibility results, but I think this next one is interesting. So based on what we found out during this process, and based on the research that we did after having these conversations, the company that came forward and said that they would review a $2.5 million gift, we dug in and started to look at their giving history. We've discounted this gift. That's the likelihood category based on we can ask for 2.5, but based on what we've seen in their philanthropic giving to date, we believe $1 million is probably a little bit more feasible. The best part about fundraising is it's really fun to be proven wrong on this. We ask for 2.5 and they give the whole thing. That would be great. We want to look at this cautiously going into it. We've got $2 million. Now, I think another key point there is currently we have the likelihood of that at 100%. So what that would then mean is the district would be in for the initial $2 million, would move forward with a $2 million match, and you would find that money in match from the community. We drill down a little bit further, and actually let me pause on this one. The $1 million, that's still on there, discounted at 25%, again, looking at giving history from this organization. But to get to the $2 million and to get to that 100% from the district, as you can see, it's one gift at 25, which someone opted in. We discounted that at 50%, one at 10, two at 5, and then 1.977 million from just generally out in the community. It's not impossible. It's a big lift. Any initial questions about this? Let me keep rolling. Okay. So our recommendation would be to initially spend time with those two companies. Okay.
Yeah. Any questions for Jason or any of his slides? Because we have to bounce to a different presentation. But anything?
Thank you.
We can come back to Jason too. What Jason was about to say was this is the administration's recommendations and next steps. First of all, one of the exciting things is that like Jason had alluded to, or maybe it was Joe. We now have all this data that we can start to look at and kind of identify some prospects for this project or other projects. Julie will obviously be doing a much deeper dive into those things And, you know, again, maybe there's something else that was on that list of needs or wants in the district that maybe might be more interesting to somebody who has been identified as a potential donor. And maybe we are able to qualify that prospect and cultivate that, and then eventually ask for those dollars in a different type of effort or campaign or that sort of thing. But again, that's something that Julie and I will look at much more closely now that we are, you know, have gotten that data and have the report from Jason. As far as the capital campaign for outdoor facilities, again, Jason, with our help, has helped identify those two leadership and major gift opportunities, those prospects. We are going to, they both have expressed an interest in hearing proposals from Julie and I, the foundation and the district, this fall. She and I have already started to, you know, put our heads together and figure out what the best proposal could look like and presentation would look like. We don't necessarily expect any determinations from those entities until early 2026. They kind of determine their end-of-year giving by the end of 2025, and then some of those gifts end up getting announced after that. So, so that kind of gives you an idea what the time frame is. If we are incredibly successful and we exceed what Jason had kind of put as that discounted number, if we were to exceed those numbers and maybe get higher to those maximum amounts, I think it would put us in a good position to move forward with a capital campaign and then try to raise that additional $2 million plus getting another district match and moving forward with the stadium upgrades. If, however, you know, those entities, our proposal is not the only proposal they'll hear from, or hear. We are not the only ones they're going to hear from. They have other people who are going to be asking them for, you know, major gifts, leadership type gifts for their own campaigns. And if they choose to select something else that is more in line with their mission and vision, and we aren't successful, at this time, it doesn't look like, based on the feasibility study, that we would be in a good position to move forward with a capital campaign. We just don't have those other types of gifts available and ready to fall back on or to really set us up for success moving forward. That's all we have tonight, but obviously Jason, Julie, and I are out here for any questions that you may have.
So basically, you don't know what you're doing yet. That's what it seems like. You're still looking into it more.
Well, we have next steps, so it really will hinge on these two, if not the larger of the two, you know, those proposals. Like I said, come this fall, we'll be in front of their foundation boards and asking and making the best pitch that we can make. And if they come back and say this is exactly the type of project that we want to be a part of, that'll be great for us, and it'll really set us up for success. Again, if that's not the case, then we're kind of back to square one, and a capital campaign might not be the right solution for this type of project.
Who delivers those presentations?
Well, Julie and I are working on them right now. We're putting together a team. One of the unique things is that at least with one of them, the actual dollars can't go to a school district. It needs to go to a foundation. So Julie would be making the majority of that pitch. I'm going to be the co-pilot on that, just given you know, the last 2 years of my life have been kind of working on this task force and trying to get things up and running and making it, you know, move forward. We also would have Joe on that leadership, that presentation. Kelly Kwiatkowski, so that she can talk about some of the things that at a secondary level that we do that would benefit this entity and how we could work together. Who am I missing?
Some of our community members.
Community members, one of her board members, at least one of her board members. So we have a team of individuals that we're putting together to make that happen.
How, is it a presentation to their boards then?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Yep. Matt?
I have two questions, one for Dave and one for you. So the first is I think the probability methodology is the correct methodology, but how did you get those numbers? You had like 40, 50% confidence levels on that.
Yeah, so what we did is we took a look at giving from those companies in the past, looked at the last 5 years, see the types and the size of gifts that they'd given, and both the size and to the type, programmatic gifts, capital gifts, and kind of got a sense from that, and then came up with those numbers based on that research.
And timeline, what did we say the timeline was? You're going to come back and bring further information? Or?
Yeah, so we don't have specific dates for our presentations yet, only because we're just waiting for that information. But we anticipate having those pitches be made sometime this fall. And obviously, fall could be between, September and November. But then we don't really anticipate having a real firm grasp on, if we're successful, what those amounts may be until maybe the beginning of 2026. And at that point, we'll have a better idea, would come back to you and tell you where we're at with things, and then obviously the board would have some decisions to make whether or not you want to move forward with the entire project or not.
If you go back to the slide on next steps, Dave, right here, I guess I would like, I don't know that we need a vote, but I would like to get an endorsement from the board to have us move forward, to continue to explore those two potential large donors, to determine whether this is going to be possible or not.
It would be an informal, since it's not on the agenda for an official vote or anything like that. But does anybody have any objections to moving forward? No.
I don't have objections with moving forward on studying this. I mean, you're essentially just getting information from those donors.
That's
or
all. That's all we're looking
Yeah.
to do. Yes.
I feel you've gone this far. Continue.
All right. And as we learn more, we will keep you posted.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dave.
All right, moving on to the next item. We have the second read and approval of the semi-annual Neola Update 34-2. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Connick. Okay, so I have a motion by Mr. Seidel and a second by Ms. Connick to approve as presented. Is there any discussion? None? Then all those raise your right hand. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. And yes, although just raise your right hand for no reason. And then we also have another second read to approve the new human resources policies. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Seidel, second by Ms. Connick to approve the human resources policies as presented. Any discussion? And hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. And then we have our discuss approve the 2025-26 board goals. Yes, I'm sorry.
Can we go back? We do have item C that we need approval on as well, the policies affected by compliance
Oh,
officer changes.
I'm so sorry. I must have missed those in my, oh, no, I had them. Sorry. I skipped over it. So
Yep.
item C, we have a second read as well for approve the policies affected by compliance officer changes. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Seidel and a second by Ms. Connick to approve the policies affected by compliance officer changes as presented. Is there any discussion? And hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Okay, did I hit everything then? Then we are, last thing is the 2025-26 board goals and guardrails. I am suggesting that we postpone the vote since we are missing 3 people and we're not in any hurry to approve them, but I don't mind like going over them tonight for additional comment.
No, I agree. I think we postpone till next meeting.
Okay, can you make a motion then to postpone?
I move to postpone the approval of the 25-26 board goals and guardrails.
I'll sec, oh, you can go ahead.
second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Zelinski and a second by Ms. Connick to postpone the 25-26 board goals and guardrails. Any discussion on that? Okay, then all those in favor, raise your right hand. That motion passes. Do we still want to do a little discussion? Completely table it? Okay, okay, so it's completely postponed until next time then. So then, just a reminder of our, oh no, we do have an action item from closed session. I forgot to assign somebody that one.
I've got it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the employment, performance, and compensation matters pertaining to staff.
I second.
All right, so I have a motion by Mr. Seidel and a second by Ms. Connick to approve the employment, performance, and compensation matters as was presented. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Then we have our future meetings and dates. Board meetings are generally held here on the second and fourth Mondays, beginning at 7:00 p.m. Next one is September 8th. That's a regular meeting. And then September 22nd is our budget hearing and annual meeting. October 23rd is another regular meeting. Other important dates is that September 2nd is the first day of school, and October 13th is the first staff in service, so there's no school that day. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Seidel and a second by Ms. Connick to adjourn. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes.